Hello, my name is Piper and welcome to my first ever video, as such my first ever Football Manager series, The First Journey. My plan with the series is to get from non-league football all the way to the Premier League in a relatively short period of time, not necessarily with one club. I will move if a good opportunity arises, but hopefully I can get there quite quickly and along the way learn how to make better YouTube videos as well as just having fun playing Football Manager. Moving on then to what team I want to start with, it came down to three choices. In third place, St. Albans. What I love about them is the Enter Shikari shirt sponsorship. I love Enter Shikari. However, like I said, I don't want this to be a one club save. I want to move around a bit. So I'm not going to be St. Albans. Their team is also really poor. So I feel like I'd have to spend a season waiting for the contracts to expire because I presume the wage budget's going to be way too small to bring in enough players to push them towards the playoffs. So maybe I'll come back in the future and do a save with them. I'll call it Take to the Skies. That sounds really fun. But for now, St. Albans, I'm sorry, you're not a winner. Coming in second place is AFC Telford. What I do like about them is they've got good training facilities, but that's kind of undone a bit by only being semi-professional, so they can't make the most out of them. They do have a good team, some good players. However, some of their better players are either coming up to mid-30s or already in the mid-30s. So I feel like after a year, I probably have to replace half the team anyway, if not all the team. Kind of similar to St. Albans. So that's why they haven't quite made the cut. So as you can see, I've chosen York City. What I like about them is similar to Telford, they do have good training facilities. They're also professional. They do have below average youth facilities, but if I'm not going to be here for too long, it's not going to be a major problem. If I was planning on spending a long time here, that would be a concern, and I'd want to, as soon as I could, maybe try and push that up a bit. But for now, I don't care. I'm not going to be here for too long. If we go back to the profile, as you can see, we've done quite well in pre-season. They've also got a pretty good squad. I'll introduce you to the whole squad later on. But Callum Jones, I've brought him in on loan, and Emmanuel Adebayi, he's a permanent signing. So those two of me, I'm taking credit for them. If we go on to look at, actually we'll look at club visions first. So they want me to reach the playoffs. I think that's doable, and the minimum is to reach the first round of the FA Cup, which I think that can be kind of difficult. If we're unlucky, we could get a League Two club. I don't know if you can in the qualifying round, but you could get a club in the league above us, and it could be a tricky fixture. So that one could be quite tough if we're unlucky. I have one job, and I'm currently filling it in terms of working within the wage budget. That's kind of, I guess, the danger of low league football. You're always tempted to go a bit too far. Apparently, a takeover is potential on the way. That could be interesting, but as you can see, I am, what's that, 700 and I'm about, I could pull this all the way back and then I'd only be £749 over my wage budget, which doesn't sound like a huge deal, but obviously at this level, every penny counts. But hopefully, if I can learn out some players, I can start to pull this back. So I will move on to transfers now. Over here. Now there's quite a lot here, but most of these weren't me. As you'll probably know, in the non-league teams, they tend to only sign 1-year deals. So every season, a lot of it can be replacing a whole squad in some circumstances. Just noticed they got rid of Jordan Burrow, who I believe is in Workless Spaces save. Really good player. A few tiers below maybe. So a shame he's left. And the only person I've got rid of is Charlie Debson King. He's gone out on loan. As you can see, I'm trying to claw back the wage budget, so you can't be too mad at me. The players brought in, for me, begins with, I believe this is Kasper Kobzak. Apologies to any Polish people who may hear that. He's quite an exciting player, I think. Some good stats, but he's definitely one for the future. Very versatile. My assistant manager believes he could be a League Two player in the future, so potentially he could be someone who I carry with me if I go to a League Two club in the future, or if I get York there. No, I will. In saying that, Mickey Cummins does have 5 in both judging player ability and potential. So, quite frankly, he couldn't tell Dominic Solanke apart from Cristiano Ronaldo. But Casper is someone who I'm looking forward to develop over the course of the season. The next player, Jake Young, very excited by him as well. Expensive in the sense of he's a loan deal, and £600 a week is quite a lot of money, as you can see from the wage budget. But he kind of gives me everything that I want. At lower league level, unless you're a doctor and you like to play tiki-taka with no right back, mostly you tend to play long ball football, so long balls over the top to pacey strikers, or you have decent wingers who cross the ball into tall players who can get the head on the ball and score a goal. What I love about Jake Young is he can kind of do both. He's got a little bit of pace, but he's also 6'1", 11 jumping, 13 heading. So hopefully he can score me a nice amount of both types of goals. So I'm excited by him. I think he's going to be worth the £600, and I think he can score me a lot of goals this season. Moving on from Jake Young, then we have the hot prospect of the team, Emmanuel Adebayo. Good physicals, some nice stats that I like in his mental stats, good work rate, good vision, technique, passing, first touch, all decent. He's going to get better in the future. He's not my first team player, but he's going to come off the bench, hopefully do a good job for me. Got some nice assists. Again, Mickey Cummins thinks he's going to be a League 2 player in the future. Mickey doesn't know shit, but hopefully he's right on that one. Bonds and Garlett, just a very good centre-back at this level. He's recently gone down. He was 4-star a few days ago, so it's quite sad. But I did have him on trial for a bit. He did score me a couple of goals. Like I say, good heading, good jumping. So he is going to be a threat from corners. It was a tough choice between this player and there was another player I had on trial. I think he was. I can't remember him now. I think he went to Scunthorpe. But yeah, there was another centre defender that I had who I was looking at as well. It was between those two. I'm quickly try and find him. This is him. Tariq Shihab. It was a choice between him and Ngala. I went with Ngala simply because I think for a centre defender, I'd want him to have a bit more strength. Jumping reach is quite low, heading is quite low. He's not very tall, and I think in these lower non-league saves, a lot of balls are going to go over the top of the defence, and you need someone who's good at heading to get rid of them. And I think this is where he'll fall apart. Hopefully, at League 2, he can do well, and maybe I'll see him again in the future. But Bonzangola, I expect him and my other centre back to take quite a few goals this season from corners. The next signing is probably one of the reasons why I am in trouble in terms of wage. Brad Watkins, I wasn't going to sign him, but he's just such a good goalkeeper for this level, and he's so much better than Jameson, who's my second goalkeeper, who I'll introduce later on again. But he was just too good, and for only £600 on a multi-year contract, because this player is going to be good enough, at least until probably League 2 maybe. He can improve a little bit as well. So I think he can be a pretty good goalkeeper at least for a couple of years. So I think he was worth the wage. He's actually, again, I had him on trial, and I'm so sad that it doesn't save the data from the trials. It makes me so sad because he's actually got me quite a few assists. Or does it just not tell you on here? But he's actually, I'll try and find it, but he has actually got me a couple of assists in these games. Because he plays really nice long balls over the top. And as you can see, I'm useless at finding out the stats. How do you find out who got the assists? Did he get an assist? He got one key pass. So it might have been this game that he got a... Yeah, look, an assist. See, all that time, worth it. Can't even get off this screen now. But yeah, he's He's a good goalkeeper, very good for this level. I think he's worth the £650. My apologies to the board. And the last player who I brought in, bargain, only £160 a week. Again, this is a player that, I'm honest, I'm not sure I particularly needed. But you know, it's a low league save, and this is what happens. You just keep buying players who you potentially don't need. But he is at this level. He's such a good player. Really well-rounded centre midfielder. Apparently, according to the game, the best player in my team. And for only £160 a week, I think he's a bargain. I think also, if we look at the competition briefly, I think he's also in the Dream 11, Callum Jones. Yeah, Jones and Harry Bunn, who I'll show you in a second now. But yeah, some we're expected to come second as well. Flied, I don't know how good they are. I guess we'll find out in the coming weeks. But if we go and look at the team, this is how I intend to set up. Obviously, you've seen Watkins. My right back is Tinkler. Very defensive. I've got a very defensive defense, which sounds obvious, but I think you'll see what I mean. Pretty good player. Good at what he does. I'm confident he'll do a good job at right back. In the middle, Ngala. We've seen Ngala and Brown. Again, another really good heading. He's going to get me good goals. I'm hoping between him and Ngala, that's maybe a dozen goals this season between those two. Matty Brown, again, as you can see, they're all, we're non-league. I know we're bad. We're non-league. No nonsense. Backline. The reason for this is, as you can see, only 9 crossing on him. I don't think Tinkler's worse, 4 crossing. So yeah, I'm hoping that they'll just stay back, keep us safe in midfield. Duckworth, he's supposed to be a right back, but I'm playing him on right mid. I've decent pace for this level. He can cross, good passing. And centre midfield, Jones and Ward, some of my first picks. Again, another good, well-rounded player. Physically, not that great, but other than that, he'll do a good job here. Probably my star player every season at least. Harry Bunn, scoring a lot. That's what, 13 goals and assists in 12 appearances. He's a great player at this level, especially. Good crossing, good finishing. Up front, you've seen Young. The other one is Red Short. This guy is. So when I was looking for another striker, I wanted someone who could hit the ball, because that's where he fell down. He was 5'4", really quick. So him and Young are going to complement each other. He's going to be the over the top, run past the defense, or maybe long ball up to Young, who heads onto him. As you can see, again, another great preseason. 13 goals. 13 goals from an expected goals of 1. What's that? That's clearly, this guy is a god. 3 penalties, scored 3. Good, great. That's a main team. On the bench, James, I think, is going to be my second choice goalkeeper. He's decent, but he's just. Brad Watkins is better, I think. His kicking's better, but what I tend to find is most of Watkins' assists have come from he puts the ball down and he just does a long pass, and I think Watkins' passes are better. He's a good goalkeeper, but I felt at £650 a week, it was just worth it, I think, for Watkins. The other goalkeeper is Larry Flatters, who's a young prospect. I'm going to be honest, I think if he ever does become a good goalkeeper, I don't think I'll be here for then. Kieran Kennedy is my reserve centre back. He'll probably get quite a few games this season. He's not a bad player, you know. He's average. He's got good average stats. I think he can do a job when I need him to. We've seen Kasper Kopsek. He's my up and coming anywhere midfield really kind of player. Jack Cassidy, my reserve striker. If any of the other 2 guys get injured, he can kind of come in. He's sort of an in-between house, isn't he? He's averagely pacey, and he can head a ball, so he can do a bit of both. Scott Barrow, left back, average. Again, you can do a good job should Newton get injured. Akil Wright, he's my other centre midfielder. Again, all round, I think that's something that I do like about this team, is we've got our depth is built of players who are just kind of all round decent. And the last one I'll show you is Rion Potts. I think he's my young striker. Yeah, he's just he's bang average, but hopefully he's only 20, so hopefully over the next couple of years. By the end of the season, I'm hoping he would have gotten a bit better. I don't think it's worth going through all these, but they're the main people we're going to be seeing this season. Another thing that I think is amusing, Sean Newton, literally, he's the captain of the team, he's the team leader, but I don't think he cares. It's gone now, but it did say somewhere that he just didn't care about being the team leader. It didn't bother him. I'm sad that it's got. Oh, there it is. Doesn't take much notice. His position is the team leader. Couldn't give a fuck. I love him. He's also our designated free kick taker and long throws. That is one problem in the team, if I'm honest, is we don't seem to have anyone who's particularly good at set pieces. However, in saying that, as you've seen with Matty Brown, we are scoring some goals from corners, so I'm expecting that to be not to be a huge problem. I think because the defence that we're playing against is so bad, it shouldn't be too much of an issue. Now, I realise at this point I have probably rambled on a little bit too long. My apologies. We do have a game up for you now. It's against Leiston in the FA Cup. I think they're so low on the tiers that they aren't actually technically in the game. But this is the first game against first game in the FA Cup. We are playing our strongest team. I wasn't sure if I was going to, because we do have a number of games quite close to this one coming up. But I figured if I get knocked out of the FA Cup, my board are going to be really upset with me, considering that I'm also wasting all the money on wages. So I've gone with my best team in the hopes that we can get through this. No fuck ups. And I don't get fired. Skip this so you can just see this. I'll highlight straight away to them. Well, that's a great start in it. So I think we're on positive. Hopefully we can come back in it. Plenty of time to, at least. But yeah, I did worry about my ability to take free kick. They do not have that concern. We're supposed to do long throws into the box, and that was not a long throw. Back in it, this is going to be a bit of a goal fest, isn't it? Michael Duckworth volleying it top corner. That's what we like to see. We'll watch the replay. I'm not going to be. I was bitter for their goal, but that was not sure how he kicked that in, but fair play. Good on you, Duckworth. We don't need to see it again. Tight offside. I hope not. Well, maybe I shouldn't have skipped that, but oh well. I'm just glad it was offside. Another throw in. Well, I said, right, I said Jack Redshaw was 5 foot, was he 5'4", and that Young was going to be the guy scoring the headed goals, but apparently, doesn't matter. I mean, I also said Young was going to head the ball down, but obviously that wasn't the case. I want to know how tall this man is. Richardson, how tall are you? Another tight offside. We are living on the edge. Richardson, how tall are you? 6 foot. You got out jumped by a 5'4" Jack Redshaw. How do you feel? So that's again one of the reasons why I chose Angola over the other player whose name I've forgotten again. Throw long balls into the box. It's not a hard concept, Newton. Into the box, not backwards, because we can't keep the ball, not even against these guys. I'm now looking beautiful in my red suit. Okay, we kept that in. Again, we're doing long balls up to Redshaw's head, even though he's 5'4". Fair play. Having a bun of a cross. Oh, off the bar. See, we're putting the pressure on. This is kind of not a goal. No, not a goal. This is kind of how I expect low league football to be in terms of end to end. If any goals are scored, it's not because of anyone's particularly great skill, it's because of some defender somewhere has messed up hugely. According to the XG, we are destroying this game, and looking at the stats, you would think we are doing a great job here. However, as we've seen in the highlights, it's a lot closer than that. My assistant recommends that. I'm going to tell them they're capable of better because, quite frankly, they are. We just need to put some of these chances away. I'm not going to leave it too long to make a substitution, because probably around 60 minutes, simply because I know I've got another game in 3 days' time, and there's N'Gala. Exactly why I picked you, N'Gala. Thank you for proving me right. Quality manager I am. Again, who was that? No, I need to go back. What's the shortcut for going back? Is it minus? I don't know. I'm curious. Was it number 9? Who was there number 9? I don't know. What? Shit. Look at me. This is going well. I am on the ball here. Tactics. So, who's important? I think my strikers are important. The midfield's important. Jones. I'll save Jones. Hopefully he can play a little part in the next game. Definitely want to save one of my strikers. Jack Redshaw is looking ill-disciplined. That's concerning. But I'll take him off then. And Duckworth, I'll take you off. There we go. Let's see if we can. No, highlight's gone now. Never mind. But it is looking like we've seen off Leistow. Another quality display of defending there. Their goalkeeper. I won't question it. I appreciate it though. So he's kind of come for it and then just sort of stopped. No any of the ball. It's like he's trying to block him from squaring it, which obviously is a defender's job. It's the goalkeeper. Who's that? Able quality. This is the kind of football you love to see. The weather as well. The weather joining in with the quality of football we're seeing here. I'm always scared at this level of pass backs to the goalkeeper just in case he just decides to not control the ball. He's my young boy. I mean, I'm trying to have faith in you, Casper, and that's what you give me. But yeah, the first half was kind of even, I felt, but the second half we've actually put the game away. There you go. That was a good win for us. I get to keep my job. We will go for the first victory. Yes, thank you, game. But yeah, that's a good result for us. Keeps us my club vision alive. As far as I'm aware, in the FA Cup, there is, I think, there's one more qualifying round, I believe. 2 more Jesus. So we've got to win 2 more games in order to get to the first round. So hopefully the game's kind to us and gives us some nice draws. But I think that should bring an end to episode 1. I'm not sure what game I'll do episode 2 for. If it's a particularly tricky FA Cup game, maybe I'll bring it back for that. The problem is, obviously, I don't know which of these teams are going to be worth watching, really. Good chance it'll be the Flyde game. Flyde is supposed to be the team that's going to win the league, so there's a good chance it'll either be the FA Cup or Flyde. But yeah, thank you anyone who watches this, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Seaboard, I'm fixing it.